But this whole thing's been a nightmare.
I'm more concerned about my marriage.
Here's a look ahead.
I'm happy to always help.
I'm gonna need all the help I can get.
Oh, yeah, I like that one. Can you send it to Mommy?
Go. Be with your family.
You are trying to destroy his life, and there's nothing you can do about it.
The opulent ballroom of the Chateau Rosemont glittered under the light of 1,000 crystals. It was the annual Forrester International Gala, a nexus of fashion, power, and whispered secrets. The air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and ambition, a heady cocktail that did little to calm the storm raging in Christian Weissmann's chest. He stood near a marble column, a glass of champagne untouched in his hand, his gaze fixed like a laser on one woman across the room. Lisa Yamada, head of international public relations for Spencer Publications, was a vision in a sheath of cobalt blue silk. She moved through the crowd with an effortless grace, a smile perpetually playing on her lips as she greeted editors, designers, and rival CEOs. But Christian, a man who had built a financial empire on his ability to read the subtlest of tells, saw the tension in the set of her shoulders, the fleeting shadow in her eyes that the dazzling smile couldn't quite conceal. She was performing, and he was the only one who knew it. Their affair had been a secret for 6 months, a whirlwind of stolen weekends in Monaco, late-night strategy sessions in his office that ended with tangled limbs on the leather sofa and whispered promises over crackling international phone lines. It was an alliance of formidable minds and incendiary passion. But 3 days ago, it had all shattered. A leaked internal memo, a potential merger between Spencer and a notoriously cutthroat media conglomerate that Christian despised, had placed them on a collision course. Their private war had bled into the boardroom, and their last conversation had ended with Lisa's voice, cold and final. "This is business, Christian. Don't take it personally." He was taking it very personally. Seeing his moment, Christian cut through the crowd. His approach was like a shark moving through calm waters, sleek, deliberate, and undeniable. He didn't bother with pleasantries. "Lisa, a word. In private." His voice was low, a gravelly command that brooked no argument. Lisa's smile tightened. "Christian, now is hardly the time. As you can see, I'm working. This isn't a request." His hand closed gently but firmly around her elbow, a touch that sent a jolt of unwelcome electricity up her arm. He guided her, with an air of absolute possession, through a set of French doors and onto a secluded balcony overlooking the manicured gardens. The cacophony of the gala faded into a distant hum, replaced by the gentle rustle of leaves in the warm night air. He released her arm as if it had burned him. "The Meridian merger. You're actually going through with it." Lisa turned to face him, her composure a brittle shield. "It's a sound strategic decision. Bill and the board are fully behind it. The synergies are undeniable." "Synergies?" Christian let out a short, harsh laugh. "Is that the corporate buzzword you're hiding behind?" "Lisa, Meridian is a parasite. They gut companies, fire loyal employees, and strip assets. Their CEO is a viper. And you're going to get into bed with them?" "My professional decisions are no longer your concern," she stated, her voice even, though her heart was hammering against her ribs. The scent of his cologne, something dark and woody, was undoing her resolve stitch by stitch. "Aren't they?" He took a step closer, invading her space. The balcony felt suddenly very small. "What about us? Was that not a concern either? Or was our relationship just another piece of your strategy? A way to keep the great Christian Weissmann close, to see what financial secrets you could glean before you made your move?" The accusation hung in the air, sharp and cruel. Lisa's eyes flashed with genuine hurt, quickly masked by anger. "How dare you? You think so little of me? You think I could fake what we had?" "I don't know what to think anymore," he exploded, his controlled facade finally cracking. He raked a hand through his perfectly styled hair. "For 6 months, I let you in. I told you things I've never told anyone. I was planning a future. And then you blindsided me with this. You didn't consult me, you didn't warn me. You just dropped the bomb and walked away. So yes, Lisa, I'm questioning everything. There is no us in the boardroom, Christian. That's what you never understood, she fired back, her own temper igniting. My loyalty is to Spencer Publications. It's to the company my grandfather helped build. This merger secures its future in a volatile market. Your feelings for me do not get a vote. This isn't about feelings, it's about ethics, he thundered. It's about the soul of your company. Or have you sold that already for a favorable stock price? He paced away from her, his broad shoulders tense. Do you know what I did yesterday? I liquidated my entire position in Spencer. Every last share. Lisa recoiled as if struck. It was a monumental vote of no confidence, a move that would send shockwaves through the market when it was discovered. You didn't. I did. He turned back, his eyes blazing with a mixture of triumph and despair. I will not be financially tied to an entity that partners with scum. And I certainly won't stand by and watch the woman I love compromise every principle she ever claimed to have. The word landed between them like a physical object. Love. It was the first time he had ever said it. The fight seemed to drain out of Lisa all at once. The professional armor she had so carefully constructed began to crumble, revealing the vulnerable, terrified woman beneath. She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly cold despite the balmy night. You think this is easy for me? She whispered, her voice breaking. You think I wanted this? The board was going to vote for the merger with or without me. My only choice was to lead the charge and try to mitigate the damage, or be sidelined and watch it happen anyway. I chose to stay in the fight. I chose to try and protect as many people as I could from the inside. A single, traitorous tear escaped and traced a path down her cheek. You were supposed to understand that. You were supposed to be the one person who saw the impossible position I was in. Christian stared at her, the raw pain in her voice cutting through his anger more effectively than any argument could. He saw it then, the weight of her crown, the loneliness of her throne. He had been so focused on his own sense of betrayal that he hadn't looked for the chains that bound her. Lisa, he said, his voice softening for the first time. No, she shook her head, wiping the tear away with an angry swipe. You accused me of the worst kind of manipulation. You believed I could use what we shared as a business tactic. That hurts more than any merger, Christian. That makes a mockery of everything I felt for you. She moved to leave, but he was faster. His hand shot out, not to grab her, but to gently cup her cheek, his thumbs stroking away the dampness. The contact was electric, a silent apology and a plea. I was an idiot, he murmured, his gaze searching hers. A proud, jealous idiot. The thought of you in that world, with those people, without me, it made me crazy. I saw it as a rejection of me, of us. I didn't see the sacrifice. Lisa leaned into his touch, her eyes fluttering closed for a brief second. The warmth of his hand was an anchor in her churning sea. It was a sacrifice, she admitted, her voice barely audible. I knew it would cost me you. I didn't think the price would feel so high so quickly. He moved closer, his other hand coming to rest on her waist, drawing her near. The cobalt silk of her dress. Then don't pay it, he said, his voice raw with emotion. Walk away from Spencer. Come work with me. Build something new, something that's ours. Something we can be proud of, without compromises or vipers. It was a breathtaking offer. The Weissmann Yamada empire. It was a siren's call to every ambitious cell in her body. But she thought of her family's legacy, the employees who looked to her, the weight of a name that was not just hers, but her history. I can't, she breathed, her heart breaking as she said the words. Not now. Maybe not ever. It's not who I am. A profound sadness settled in Christian's eyes, but the anger was gone, replaced by a deep, aching understanding. They were two sides of the same coin, driven, loyal to a fault, and tragically bound to their respective destinies. Then what are we doing, Lisa? He asked, his forehead gently touching hers. If we're on opposite sides of this war, and neither of us is willing to desert our posts, what is left for us? She looked up at him, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. I don't know, she confessed. But I know that walking away from you tonight feels like tearing out my own heart. That was all the confirmation he needed. He closed the infinitesimal distance between them and captured her lips in a searing kiss. It was not a kiss of reconciliation, but of desperate, passionate farewell. It was a kiss that held all the words they couldn't say, the love, the regret, the fury, and the devastating acceptance of an impossible reality. Her arms wound around his neck, her fingers tangling in his hair as she kissed him back with equal fervor, pouring every ounce of her conflicted soul into the moment. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless. The sounds of the gala swelled as someone opened the French doors nearby, a stark reminder of the world waiting for them. Christian gently released her, his hands sliding down her arms to briefly clasp her hands. "The merger will be a disaster," he said, his voice once again that of the formidable businessman. "And when it is, my offer will still stand." Lisa straightened her dress, rebuilding her composure piece by piece. A sad, knowing smile touched her lips. "And I'll still probably say no." He gave a slow, respectful nod. He understood the unshakable core of her. It was, after all, why he loved her. "Then I suppose this is goodbye, Miss Yamada," he said, the formality a poignant shield for his heart. "Goodbye, Mr. Weissmann," she replied, her voice steady now. He turned and walked back into the glittering light of the ballroom, leaving her alone on the dark balcony. Lisa turned to face the gardens, the ghost of his kiss still burning on her lips. The war between Spencer and Weissmann Holdings was just beginning. But the personal battle, the one fought in the quiet space between two hearts, was over. They had chosen their kingdoms, and in doing so, had lost each other. She took a deep, shuddering breath, squared her shoulders, and prepared to walk back into the fray, the taste of their bold, beautiful, and tragic love story forever lingering, a bittersweet reminder of what ambition had cost.